These emblems represent the most widely collected automobiles in history. Here at the Auto Collections at the Imperial Palace, you will find a brilliant and dazzling array of the world's most interesting, intriguing, and sought-after cars. Here is the Auto Collections' Don Williams to tell you more.
The Auto Collection here at the Imperial Palace was originally a museum to show cars, and it was a static display. Many people over the 20 years tried to buy cars here, couldn't buy them. Cars weren't for sale. So it was kind of like an evolution. A little less than 2 years ago, we started selling some of the cars that had been here for a long time and then bringing cars in from around the world that are for sale. And so it's been kind of a slow evolution from a static display to an active, interactive sales display. It's really become a kind of a spot where we kind of hoped that it would turn into the hub for the world.
There are several dealers throughout the world that might have 2 or 3 cars in. Some of them might have as many as 10, 15 cars for sale. But this is the largest classic and collectible car other than just junkyards. You know, people say, well, I have 5,000 cars. Well, they own a junkyard. You know, a literally junkyard that they inherited from their father, and there's 20s and 30s cars in it, or 50s cars in it. But as far as quality investments, this is the largest in the world.
Now, the Duesenberg was known for being a powerful car, right?
Oh, absolutely. All the cars before they were given to their new owners were tested on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at over 100 miles an hour with the running gear and the engine and everything.
But we're not going to go that fast today.
Not today. First gear, nice and straight down. Brake off.
Brake off.
Ease out on the clutch.
Now, you mentioned before that it steers kind of hard, and I can definitely get that.
Oh yeah, especially if you're not on the roll. If you're just sitting trying to turn, you're gonna have to really get after it.
Now, the transmission, synchro or not synchro?
I believe not.
Okay. So when you don't have synchro, you have to do that double clutch
A little bit
thing?
of double clutch and give it a little RPMs.
Done some business with the Auto Collection and with the fellows of the Auto Collection, and well, we got a Duesenberg from them about 3 or 4 years ago.
You can sell $50,000, $30,000 cars and nobody talks about it, and all of a sudden you sell one that sells for $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000 or even $1 million, and it's well, those are rare cars. It's like when a Rembrandt sells, you know, but most of us can't afford it, and so most of us don't even identify it. I think a lot of people buy cars they identify to as when they were young, and we try to, you know, fill that nostalgia era.
When it was a museum in Ralph Engelstad's personal collection, we had 52 Duesenbergs, had over 100 pre-war Mercedes, over 100 pre-war Rolls Royces. It was in excess of 850 cars. And now we've sold most of the 850 cars, and this is a complete different collection now because it's on a rotating basis. We've been selling about a car a day. So there's new cars every time somebody comes to town. If they come to town once a month.
I mean, I hope you'll be able to find something you like. I mean, we try to keep the variety changing. That's the biggest thing that we've tried to do, is have just almost anything. If it has wheels on it, we'll sell it. You know, it's been less than a year now, and so what we've done is that we've made all the cars available for sale. They all have the values on it. I think the biggest misconception is that all the cars that were in this auto collection were over too much money. People couldn't afford them, and I think when you walk through, you find that they're very affordable.
The buying is changing. The cars that are being bought and sold with the people who are into it the 50s, the late 50s, all through the 60s and well up into the early 70s are being more sought after now than they ever have been, and really becoming part of the strong market that is in collector cars.
On the floor itself, we're running anywhere from 250 to 300 cars, and there's always another 100 cars in the workshops or in transit going to different auctions and shows at all times. We have several websites, autocollections.com. We'll give you a current inventory of all the vehicles we have for sale, also photographs of all the cars. So you can, on the web, you can sit and browse 200-300 cars.
It's a 1930 L29 Cord. Believe it or not, it has front-wheel drive. I know that this car is a consigned piece to the collections, and the owner is the one who came up with the paint scheme for the car. Everybody thinks that the front-wheel drive is something new, you know, that they've come out with in the last, maybe 25 years to the general public. But here in 1930, we had the innovation of front-wheel drive, and it's just to think that that technology was available then, and we see it as technology now, but the shifting mechanism comes directly out of the dashboard. And it's really strange, and it's a very long, extensive mechanical linkage that brings the shifting mechanism to the front where the actual transmission is to do the shifting. So it's kind of strange, and it's kind of weird to get in the first time into a Cord and you see the shifter sticking out of the dashboard. As we all know, this used to be the Imperial Palace Auto Collection, world famous, over 800 cars at one time. We changed our venue over in April of 2000, and we went to an all-sales format under the Auto Collection. We take consignments from people all over the world, so we have the finest cars from all over the world coming and being offered for sale right here in Las Vegas.
A matching number car is something that now, some people just don't want to spend the money, okay? So you can get a 59 Corvette with a non-matching number car for a lot less money. That's okay, as long as both the seller and the buyer are aware of it. This car is valued at $60,000, and sometimes you'll see them at $20,000, $25,000, and people think, well, geez, that's too much money, and I can take the car home and have it restored. They can't. In fact, the man that restored this car spent probably $75,000 in 2 years worth of time. It's kind of like a disease. Once you start collecting, if you really like cars, you just keep doing it, you know, and then it's just a matter of how much you can afford to do and how far you want to go. Guys that don't know it are going to end up with 100-car collections. I don't know what the next person walking in wants to look at, wants to buy. And so what we've tried to do is we've tried to have as much variety. We have trucks, we have flatbeds, we have Duesenbergs, we have cars up to $2 million, we have cars down into a few $1,000s.
We run about 3,000 people a day through the collection itself, and there are people just in town, tourists, hotel guests, casino guests. There's a lot of car collectors that come through, of course, and we're getting more and more of the car collectors coming through now that they know the cars are for sale.
We purchased a 31 Packard dual cowl a year ago and a 31 Cadillac 12-cylinder Roadster. And those cars are home in Manawa, Wisconsin now, and they're every bit as good as we expected they would be before we bought them.
And now they can come and buy a piece that's restored to brand new condition. I mean, this car is better than it came off the showroom floor. and they're able to enjoy it because they truly, it's part of them. The car is part of their history and their mind of their life.
Yeah, we're a car culture. When you think about it, I mean, you get into some of the major cities, I think that people use their car to self-identify. I mean, you find people driving cars and that's who they feel. That's what they feel like. Sometimes it's kind of funny when the car doesn't match the person inside behind the wheel. You go, different personality than you might think by looking at the person. We started off, I mean, of course, the identity was a lot of the Duesenbergs. I mean, it was always Duesenberg. Imperial Palace and Duesenberg was almost synonymous within our industry. And we still have a lot of Duesenbergs here. But there's a lot of people who would come in and say, well, geez, you don't have any 57 Chevys, or geez, you don't have a 52 Ford. And when you start looking at the demographics of the people who are coming, the thing that you look at is nostalgia. And what did you want when you were a kid? What did your parents drive and stuff? So we have a lot more of those, and so we've really changed the whole basis of the display. I would say we probably come up 20 years on average. You know, we have more diversity. We have more variety as far as European and American cars, where it was more American car oriented, where now it's a world museum. And I think that that's the difference. And you know, you can see a lot of cars that nobody else in the world has. I mean, even subtle little differences like a 57 Ford retractable doesn't sound like much, but if you have a fuel-injected one, many people come in and said, well, they never made one. Yes, they did. They made 12. There's 4 left. So we go out of our way to try to find rare cars like that for display.
There are all kinds of vehicles here at the Auto Collections. Someone can actually come in here and have a want list, and we can fill the entire list.
Somebody comes here and decides that they want to buy a car. I mean, we can arrange financing for them if they want. We can arrange the insurance. We can arrange the shipping. Insurance is very easy to get, and yet many people sometimes think that it's hard. And so we have companies that specialize in this that not only can handle the cars, but they can handle your whole collection or your whole estate if you want.
And if you're not looking for a car you can drive home, then you can shop at the Franklin Mint and buy a car you can take home. The Franklin Mint features one of the largest selections of collectible miniature cars in the world. Each is painstakingly created with moving parts and scale accuracy. Also, on your visit to the Auto Collections at the Imperial Palace, don't miss the world's largest collection of authentic Wurlitzer jukeboxes. The dazzling array of different designs and models will take you back in time to a day when 57 Chevys and Elvis were in.